Yeah, the world will keep spinning, so like Cheryl, just hold on for the ride.
I mean, everything right now is like a roller coaster. It really is. You know, if the card reader breaks down, I break down. If someone's out here buying a mask and it makes them happy, I'm happy.
That's great. Well, by the way, Cheryl is releasing a book in August with all the new recipes. And you know, she can't have a traditional book release party right now, so she plans to stock the Pixomatic with some of the recipes for people to try. So you have to give that a shot. What a clever idea, isn't it? Well, it's a big night for Timbers fans. The team will play their first match since March at 7:30 tonight. They're taking on the LA Galaxy at an MLS tournament site in Florida. Now, because of the way things are with the pandemic, there will not be any fans in the stadium. Today, the Thorns battled Tacoma-based OL Reign to a scoreless draw. This was the final preliminary match for the Thorns in NWSL in the Challenge Cup, rather. Next, they'll play top-seeded North Carolina in the first knockout round. Good luck to them. And from soccer, we go to baseball. The Portland Pickles played their first game of the season over the weekend. A small crowd filled the stadium at North Marion High School. Fans had to get their temperatures checked, and they wore masks as well. The Pickles beat the Portland GHERKINS 2-1. Well, no games for the SALEM-KEIZER Volcanoes this season, but the team's stadium is sure getting put to good use. Devin Haskins shows us that you can now rent it on Airbnb.
How would you like to sleep here? Or even here in the stands? What about here, inside the dugout? Without a minor league baseball season to play, the SALEM-KEIZER Volcanoes Stadium is getting used another way.
The fact that we're able to do anything, any community events right now, we feel like is a win. Considering the restrictions that are in place, we're happy just to be able to provide some kind of entertainment.
For $1,000 a night on Airbnb, plus taxes and that pesky cleaning fee, the entire stadium is all yours.
You get access to the home team clubhouse, and you know we let them sleep in there if they want, and so you know they have access to the entirety of the clubhouse, training rooms, cafeteria, manager's office, etc.
Not only that, but you can take batting practice on the field or play a game, and even play your favorite walk-up music over the PA system as you step to the plate. John CUKANEC and his fantasy football league spent Thursday night at the stadium to announce their draft order.
You know, with taxes and fees, it's about $100 a guy, which is completely worth it. You would spend that, you know, on a Chuck E. Cheese birthday party or something. So it was totally worth doing.
CUKANEC is a big baseball fan and couldn't pass up the unique opportunity to have a catch with his dad and son on his own field of dreams.
So to be down on the field and with my friends, and my son was here and my dad was here, the lights are on and you're running around, you feel like you're 12 again.
Playing under the stadium lights is about as cool as being able to sleep under them if you want to take that risk.
The story I was telling people was I was going to sleep in center field, right? The romanticism of sleeping out on the field at night. And then the guy that runs the stadium here kind of told us the sprinklers come on about 2 in the morning.
The Volcanoes aren't making much on the deal, just enough to break even, they say. But the stadium rental is so popular, weekends are booked until October. Baseball will be back at Volcano Stadium. But until then, it's your turn to field a team.
Boy, that is sure a unique use of that space there. Well, local teens starting careers in fashion now have a new way to get some help. We'll tell you about a new scholarship that'll give them a boost while encouraging diversity in designers. And we sure hope you enjoyed your weekend. We asked you to share your photos on Facebook. We want to share a couple of them now as we head.
I know things were bad.
Step out of the sun.
A virtual concert fundraiser put on by Broadway star Shoshana Bean just wrapped up on her YouTube page. And as you're seeing here, it featured students from all over the Beaverton School District. The money raised will help the Performing Arts Department at Beaverton High School, which is Bean's alma mater. Last month, our Cassidy Quinn got to talk with Bean about the impact the fundraiser will have on students.
my goal is that they don't have to think about this stuff, that they can just show up to school and have those things that should be a right. They shouldn't be a privilege. It's hard enough being a kid, and even harder to be a kid these days.
So the concert fundraiser is now in its third year, which is great. So far, it's raised more than $50,000. Well, this is a really important story. The Portland Fashion Institute has a new scholarship to help teens of color pursue careers in the fashion industry. Christelle Kumwe tells us about it.
Oh, where'd you get that? And I'm like, guess what? I made it.
5 years ago, if you have told TANESHA O'Neill she'd be in the fashion world, she wouldn't have believed you.
I have 2 kids. They're both in middle school, and part of me has always kind of wanted a job with great health benefits and security.
While working with Portland Public Schools for about 4 years, she also went to school.
I was in a master's program to get a teaching degree, and in my practicum, I just, I can't do this anymore. And I left.
She decided to pursue something she always wanted to.
And I just jumped into it, and I started the fashion apparel program at PFI.
She enrolled at Portland Fashion Institute, an apparel school where classes are taught by people in the industry. Being in that environment taught TANESHA there's plenty of options for careers in fashion.
You wanted to do marketing, or you want to do retail, or you want to make patterns, or a lot of different things that has opened my eyes that I just didn't know. So the scary part was I just thought it would be uncertain, and now that I'm there, that's totally not my opinion anymore.
PFI offers a variety of classes, certificate programs, and scholarships. The institute has been in the Portland area for about 10 years.
I think that really the school is kind of a reflection of the population of Portland. I am often the only person of color in a class.
The lack of diversity is something PFI founder Sharon Blair wants to change.
And it just seemed wrong that we're missing a whole segment of Portland where we have such great talent.
To find diverse talent, PFI launched the Fashion Design Scholarship for Teens. Blair partnered with longtime friend ABAT DUROSINI of Bloom Beauty Collective, a production agency known for showcasing people of color at their events.
We definitely built this relationship where we wanted to see people of color shine within that industry. And so it was just, of course, it made sense.
The scholarship is open to full-time high school juniors or seniors of color in the Portland-Vancouver area.
Our scholarship is $19,000 worth of classes, plus a fashion show, getting to have experience at a fashion event, a portfolio, so that they can then launch their careers or go on to even bigger school.
Based on her experience, TANESHA has a message for teens about the opportunity.
I just tell them to leap. I just say, you know what? When I'm talking to them, just do it. At the end of the day, there's no do-overs. You get one life, do it.
TANESHA is still taking classes at PFI and hopes to someday design her own furniture.
Is my buttons and my sleeves, but I was really proud of it.
Well, the application for the scholarship is open now, and it goes in through August 1st. The winners will be announced at the Bloom event, which is on August 8th. We have a bunch more information on our website. That's kgw.com. Well, during this pandemic, Oregonians have really come together in many different ways to help others in need. Today, volunteers handed out food boxes at St. Anthony's in Tigard. It's through a partnership between the USDA Farmer to Families Food Boxes Program, the Archdiocese of Portland, and Pacific Coast Fruit Company.
My family, we're struggling a little bit right now. Some of them have lost their job, and every little bit helps. And this is pretty awesome that we can do this and, get some things that, doesn't add up for the bill.
Oregon Senator Ron Wyden stopped by to help distribute boxes as well. The program provides more than 200,000 food boxes per month in our region. Still to come tonight, kite flying on a whole new level. Meet the pair of Oregonians who traveled all the way to Iowa to put on a show. First, though, we want to share more of your photos from the weekend. Here are some of them as we head to break.
Beaverton and CurtisTrailers.com.
And welcome back. Well, if you have ever struggled to put a kite up in the air and get it to stay up there, you will appreciate the work of the guys in this next story. They pull giant kites, some as big as a house, behind a boat. Photojournalist Stephen Redland shows us how they do it.
We got a couple boats behind us. We're all going to try and form up here.
This is how you put on a very unique 4th of July show.
We have all 4 boats flying proud all together.
Phil Burks here in Portland, Oregon.
Hi, I'm Rod Thrall. I live in Newberg, Oregon.
My name is Blake Pelton. We fly kites where other people can't fly kites.
As we make the turn, our wind speed on the kites pick up.
Flying big inflatable kites out of the back of boats.
The Peter Lynn Kites Boat Tow Show brought together 6 practice giant kite flyers to wow the crowd in Iowa for the 4th of July 2020.
The spectacle is pretty amazing.
And you instantly see them, smile, and they'll jump up and start cheering and waving.
They're big as an average house. Think about that when you remember putting up your kite as a kid and feeling the string tug at your fingers in the wind.
Flying out of the back of a boat just adds 2 or 3 or 4 different dimensions that we've never even thought about.
These grown men say it looks like fun, but it's also a lot of work.
That was the hardest I've ever worked in a single week.
Some danger.
I got Band-Aids all over my hands from line burns.
And potentially you could get yanked out of the boat at speed, get tangled in lines, and it could become, a very unfortunate incident. So we work real hard not to do that.
These guys put a weekend-long show together on Lake Okoboji, Iowa, in busy boat traffic, choppy water, and with techniques being invented as they go.
And it's very, very technical, tricky kite flying.
This is so new that we're still inventing what to do.
Well, there's probably a dozen people in the world that have even attempted this. It's a pretty elite group.
And what goes up eventually must come down. How does a 40-foot kite go back into a 25-foot boat?
As you can see, way bigger than the boat.
What does an international group of giant boat-towed kites do for the folks who fly them?
They have to stay moving.
I think for us, it's just about the smiles that we create and the memories, and it's just such a spectacle to see the kites moving and flying over the water.
And there's a whole lot more sky to fly.
One of those highlights of my life things.
When you get it all done and everybody's safe, you feel almost like you got away with something.
Because we love flying kites together, and it's the kiting and the togetherness that we just love.
That looks like a great time, and what a cool sight to see when you look up. Neat. Well, when we come back, we will explore one of Oregon's most historic cities, and that's Forest Grove. We'll check out the world's tallest barbershop pole and other unique spots in town.
At least in America, that allows us to breathe.
Well, it's now time for Rod on the Road. This week, Rod Hill checks out Washington County's oldest city, Forest Grove.
Standing on the beautiful campus of Pacific University, which dates back to 1849, roughly the same age as Forest Grove. And if you're wondering, look up the beautiful grove of oak trees, part of the inspiration of the name Forest Grove. So what is the richness of the history to you?
I think partly it's just the beauty that we have here in Western Oregon. Alvin Smith and Harvey Clark came in 1841 that they settled on the property that we're standing on. By 1854, Smith had built this house, and it was a stopping point for anybody in need as they transitioned from the Oregon Trail into settlement. A lot of the architecture in downtown is around 1890s. It was originally the West Tualatin Plain, but even before it received the name Forest Grove as an area, it was not incorporated until 1872, but in 1851, people were already calling it the Grove.
The tallest barbershop pole in the world. I have to admit, I'm finding out it's a painted telephone pole, but that's okay. It salutes the long heritage of barbershop quartet singing in Forest Grove.
There's several things I love about this town. One is the friendly environment, the community really comes together. I love that it's a college town. There's a lot of young energy, which I love. And I really love the placement of Forest Grove, how we're right on the edge. To the west is still all wilderness and wild and forest and everything. And to the east is all city and conveniences and fun.
An appliance store in a smaller city downtown just seems to be a classic piece of Americana to me.
Yes, our grandfather started this business with his partner in 1944.
This pink pig Traeger was born in Mount Angel in a barn.
The pig was born in a barn.
Imagine that.
1, 2, 3, 5! And the high school mascot is?
The Vikings.
Go Vikes!
I'm told if I keep going, eventually I will end up in the middle. It's going to take some time. We'll check back in an hour and see where I am.
Or maybe a couple hours, Rod. Nice job. That's great. Well, thanks so much for joining us tonight. And remember, as always, keep sharing your positive news so we can put it right here on the air. And as we leave you tonight, we'll share more of your weekend photos. Have a good one.